Good to see everybody here today. Thank you for joining us. Hello. All right, I guess we can get started. Hello and welcome to the Classical Singer online music convention. We are so excited to have you here with us, and we are also especially excited to have our speakers and masterclass presenters with us today, Professor Creighton and Professor Haddon, and they would like to share their expertise with us today, which we are ecstatic about. So before we start, and they are from Roosevelt University, apologies. We're so happy to have you with us. But before we get started, we have a few housekeeping items to go over. First of all, everyone has been muted, and will remain so during the class so that the presenter and the singers have the best audio situation possible. This exception will be during the question and answer section at the end of the session when one person can be unmuted one at a time should they want to ask their question. And next, we hope to have time for at least a few questions at the end of class. If you have a question, please feel free to enter it in the chat area anytime during the masterclass, and I will keep track of it. I will be asking the questions put in the chat at the end. However, if you really feel strongly about sharing your question, you can do that by clicking on participants at the bottom of your screen and then clicking raise hand, and I will introduce your name and ask you to speak. There will be 3 singers in this class. However, if something is to happen, we will happily take a volunteer. If you are interested in volunteering, please chat me privately. And we encourage those who have already had the chance to sing in previous classes to allow others to volunteer first. We apologize in advance if we run out of time or this doesn't happen due to our singers that are supposed to sing. And then finally, we'd also just like to remind everyone to be positive and supportive of our singers and of one another. Please don't give advice about singing, as this is our presenters' jobs. And without further ado, I'll turn time over to the Roosevelt University staff. And the order for the singers is as follows: Haley Burr, Melody Sparks, and then Kinga. I cannot say your last name, I'm so sorry, but please be prepared. Thank you.
Well, welcome. We're happy to have you here. I am Judith Haddon. I am the head of the voice department at the Chicago College of Performing Arts at Roosevelt University. It's quite a mouthful. All it means is we're a conservatory within a university. Today, we are talking to you about, and cleverly Mark wrote this, are you ready to shine? Of course, are you like a university? You know, it's very important how you present yourself. Are you singing the correct repertoire for your voice category? Are you sparkling when you do it? And we're going to talk about all of these things today. Please say those things when you go to sing. And now I'll also introduce my colleague and dear friend, Mark Creighton.
Hi, everybody. Looking forward to hearing you sing today.
Okay, then we could take the first person. I will put on my reading glasses so I can see better.
Hello, my name is Haley Berg. I am an incoming junior at DePaul University, and today I will be singing Warteseligkeit by Marx.
Unter ihren Zweigen, da bin ich ganz allein. Da bin ich ganz mein eigen.
Very beautiful. Mark, would you like to begin? Mark, you're on mute, honey.
Sorry. I have to practice pressing that button harder. Haley, is it possible for you to raise your camera just a tiny bit? Are you on your
Yeah.
phone? Yeah, because I was seeing up your nose and not so much on your face. So sorry for that.
I realized that halfway through. I'm so sorry.
It's totally okay. So I wanted to start by saying you have a beautiful voice and you're wonderfully prepared. So congratulations
Thank
to
you.
you and your teacher. Um, I did notice a couple of tension issues. And the first big giveaway for your high notes when you started to sing in a higher passage is your right shoulder started traveling up to your
Oh,
ear.
okay.
So could we try your first phrase again? And you don't have to play the accompaniment, but I
Okay.
want you to take your hands and put them behind your back and clasp them. Now pull down. So do your hands like that down. Pull down with your hands. So it pulls your shoulders down. Now sing that first phrase again. So let me stand up so I can show you what I'm doing.
Oh, I
Okay,
see.
like that.
Down
Press
here.
it, yeah, press it
Okay.
down. Now sing that first phrase again and see if you catch yourself using that right shoulder to tell us when you have a high note coming.
Okay.
That's called telegraphing, and we don't need to see it. So try that phrase again.
Okay.
Good. What did you feel? Did that feel easier?
It felt a lot easier.
Good.
Yeah.
Let's make sure that you've not interrupted anything, and we're going to take our hands and press them together like this in front of you. Okay? So now press together first, and then inhale, and then sing the phrase.
Okay.
Try it. Press hard.
Ugh, okay.
Good. So what did you feel?
It felt deeper inside, like.
Oh, well, good. That means your throat opened. Well, that's a wonderful thing. So, and I'm sure Judy's going to talk about this too, and I'll toss it to her, but I also saw you not using this whole area of your face.
Okay.
And we need to do that to help you lift that sound out of your throat. We don't want it to sound throaty, okay?
Okay.
And this also puts everything in that phrase that everybody uses called in the mask.
Yes.
It puts it there, okay?
Okay.
And I had to develop, I studied with Judy for 24 years, and I had to develop the wonderful cheeks that she has naturally. It took me a long time. But Judy, go for it.
Okay, well, first of all, I agree with Mark. You have a beautiful voice, and you are clearly a young lyric. What other things do you sing?
I've been singing with my teacher a lot of actually like Puccini stuff, and one of the things I've sang is Chilea's Io sono mille ancelle. And then we recently figured out that like Joseph Marx fits pretty well into my range, and so I've been working a lot on that recently, and just some English art songs as well.
Well, you have a very beautiful voice, and you're doing very well. I happen to love Joseph Marx. He's very passionate. The problem, you are coming into your junior year, so that means you're just a sophomore. You're a rising junior, as we call them. Did you say DePaul or DePaul?
DePaul with a W.
W. Okay. So if you Google me, I'm sure you Googled me before you signed on to this class or read a little of my bio.
Yes.
So I did all that repertoire, and I did Puccini and all of those heavy things in Slavic repertoire. But you know what a young lyric sings when they leave the university? The Inas and the Ettas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I would like to recommend to you, because what happens is when you sing at what you're going to be clearly, and you're always singing at that decibel level or heaviness, you end up having to push almost.
Mm-hmm.
So even though these are songs, so the arias you've chosen are arias you probably won't do till you're well into your 30s.
Right.
So I'm just making a recommendation. You're singing beautifully, your teacher's doing a great job, but you want to present yourself in I hate to say this, I don't mean lighter singing, but in a lighter nature at this time.
Yes,
So
I
that would
understand.
be, right. Now, that
Yeah.
might mean even singing Dei Vieni instead of the countess, because it's still legato. And when
Right.
you're young, and you know what young lyrics sing instead of Alice in Falstaff? They sing Nanetta. At your age, and these are things you can use your real voice
Mhm.
in. And then eventually, so if you look at Falstaff, Nanetta's the lighter soprano. But if you look, you'll see Anna Moffo and Mirella Freni and people like that who have all sung Nanetta first.
Right.
And Mirella Freni was one of my mentors. Yeah, really.
Yeah.
And Beverly Sills and Mirella Freni could do worse, right? So she's the one who yelled at me when I did Butterfly before my time. So I'm just passing this on to you because you want to sing for longevity. Again,
Right.
this is just my opinion. Take it
Yeah.
or leave it.
Thank
But
you.
what I'm finding in your singing is it's stunningly beautiful, but your body is not yet ready support-wise, which is what Mark was doing perfectly. So you can try those for all these heavy things you're singing. Now, they're very impressive, but our class is about how to present yourself. So do you do anything with coloratura in it? And I don't mean razzle-dazzle coloratura. I just mean anything that has movement.
I haven't done a lot. So for my sophomore proficiency exam that we recently did, I did Handel's song Come and Trip It, and that had a little bit of coloratura and allowed me to work that side of my voice a little bit more, but it definitely was like different because I have not done a lot of that stuff. And we were like, oh, we have to pick something earlier because I'm doing all of this romantic stuff,
Right.
which, yeah.
Well, Come and Trip It is the polar opposite of your other. So let me make another recommendation then. Maybe even with your beautiful, rich voice, you're ready to sing Handel's Piangerò,
Okay.
So it has legato and so forth. So you don't have to go from one to the other. And what I cut my teeth on, I was the worst coloratura singer. Really, I got to learn how to teach it. But what I cut my teeth on was, oh, had I Jubal's Lyre. Okay, and Rejoice Greatly. Those are things that you can do that require two different kind of singers sing it. So that you don't have to go to Come and Trip It, which somebody who's a real soubrette might.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
So,
Mark, please go ahead.
Cleopatra's first aria, which now just left my head. I've done a lot of Julius Caesars, and I get stuck on stage with Cleopatra.
I can't think of the name of it, but it's.
But that first aria also is what I would call baby melismas, and not non disperar. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. My brain just shut down. Non disperar. It's really not as floored as something like Dal Tempeste, which is at the end.
Right.
So really. Consider that one as well because it still has the legato and it still has a moving line that your voice has to move. Judy's right.
So what Mark is saying is that, oh, thank you. She's giving us the 2-minute warning, I think.
Okay.
So what Mark is saying, and we're not working as much as talking, but I think the talking right now is incredibly important for you because your voice is very, very beautiful.
Thank you.
And all of us want to do what we are ultimately hoping to do.
Right.
But we have to remember that this is a physical instrument and it develops with age. So what does your teacher talk to you about breathing? Let's just do a breathing exercise if you don't mind.
Okay.
What does she say? For example, there are two kinds of breaths. There's the catch breath, which is more immediate, which is above your waist, between your sternum and your waist. It's where you pant, where you can feel the upper gastrum. So
right.
That, honey. And put your hand here. I don't know if you can see me, but yeah, a little higher. There you go. A little, like there. Okay. Now, hands. Yeah, there. That's the short breath. Now, the long sustained breathing. How does she teach you how to do that?
So we've been working a lot on. So what I tend to do is my breath tends to be a little bit too long. Like I'm trying a little bit too hard to get down in here and go. And it takes a little too long. So what he's been focusing on is allowing that, like the entire, like internal system to kind of drop, like very quickly. And so that it's just like and I can just sing immediately so that between those phrases, it's not as hard for me to be like,
Well, so when he's telling you to take a nasal inhalation, I would recommend a mouth inhalation.
Oh, yeah.
A fast breath comes in more quickly through your mouth than it does through your nose. But when you begin your piece in the in the introduction, when you begin your piece or when inhalation, otherwise it's going to be noisy, right?
Right.
And then you can take your time to do what I call a diva breath, and do everything he's saying and fill your body with air. Never breathe, hold, sing.
Okay.
Breathe, sing.
Yeah.
So, but don't ever. I feel that you can't take a fast breath through your nose. That's just, again, my opinion. Mark would. So, like, if you want to, go ahead, Mark.
You can also practice that catch breath on a lovely exercise. I seem to be echoing.
That is some noise going on there.
Let me unmute you again. Hold on.
Unmuting yourself.
There, I'm unmuted. That didn't fix it.
You sound like you have a ghost. Okay. Well, say it fast. Maybe she'll get it.
The whole idea is to sing your 5 vowels and inhale and exhale at the same right after it, like this. He, hey, ha, ho, ooh. That works that whole epigastrial area and doesn't allow you to push anything.
Right.
You can build up those muscles.
Okay.
I would not advise doing this more than about 4 or 5 times the first time you do it, and have a chair to sit down in really quickly.
Okay.
Because it will wear you out, but it builds up the stamina, which is the other thing that Judy was getting at. One of the reasons we're not singing all that big stuff now is you need to learn how to build the stamina to hold your instrument open and sing these wonderful, rich pieces.
Yeah.
But don't give up these pieces. They're in your voice, but put them away for just a little bit.
Okay.
When you can. I mean, you have requirements. I don't want to get into that. But
Right.
You have a beautiful voice, Sunny.
Thank you. And I want to thank you so much. These are things that I've been struggling with to work out and to figure out my voice. So thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
Welcome.
We're out of time. We'll move on. Mark, why don't you try connecting and reconnecting to the mic at the bottom where the microphone icon is, and that should.
Are you still getting an echo?
Occasionally.
Okay. All right, I just tried it again.
That's good. I thought James was making faces.
No, that door is closed.
Okay. Okay.
Melody is up next. Melody.
Hello. Can you all hear me?
A little bit. Honey, can you turn up the sound a little?
Sure. Okay. I'm using, let me see. Does that make a difference?
That's better.
Okay. I had this nice mic that my friend gave me, so I wanted to try it. Okay. Cool. I will be singing Come Scolio from Così fan tutte. Sorgiti fuori di questo luogo e non profani la lingua infausta dei pavimenti, nostro cor, nostro orecchio, i nostri affetti. Invan per voi, per gli altri invan, si cerca le nostre anime si dur.
Chi ci piace e ci consola e potrà l'amor se sola, l'amor se sola, far che canti affetto il cor, far che canti. Perché canti affetto il cor, perché canti affetto il cor. Come scoglio immoto resta, altrimenti e la tempesta. Oh, Signor, qui stai forte, la fede in nell'amor, nella fede rispettate le anime ingrate, questo è segno di costanza e una barbara speranza, non mi renda audace ancor, e una barbara speranza, non mi renda audace ancor, 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 audace ancor, audace ancor.
Very nice, very nice. Would you like me to begin, Mark? Okay. All right. So, Melody, tell me, I don't remember if you said it because we were busy trying to listen, but where do you go to school, or are you out of school?
I just graduated from Azusa Pacific University. It's
Yeah.
near LA.
Is that undergraduate?
Yes, undergrad.
Are you planning to go to graduate school?
Yes, I applied to some graduate schools. I'm on the waiting list for USC, so we'll see if I make it. But if
A
not,
good school.
next year for sure.
Okay, well done. All right. So what other repertoire do you sing?
Well, I haven't done a lot of arias. Mozart is a lot of what I do. As far as art song, for my senior recital, I did some Rachmaninoff. I've done obviously Fauré for French and some Brahms German, Schubert, and I sing a lot of. I think my voice is kind of has that like coloratura type of feel, but it's still also bigger than I think a lot of the time. I did a lot of choral music in the beginning of a college, so then my teachers had to really encourage me to broaden myself more. So.
Well, your voice is beautiful and your teachers are doing a great job. But what I want to say to you, sweetheart, is that, again, you're going now for the heaviest thing you will be singing at this, And so let's talk a couple of things. I understand the choral thing. Do you have trouble executing high notes? Or is that a problem for you? Or are you okay with the top?
The really ridiculous high notes very easily. I have to definitely work for those. As far as sometimes like the high note in this one is just a B flat. And so for this one, I think the problem for me is just making sure I have enough space to really hit it and make it sound full. because sometimes I have this like pinpoint type of voice that just wants to like push it, you know.
So can I help you with that a little bit? And then
Yeah, that'd
I'll
be
let
great.
Mark, because I don't want to take all the time so Mark can't speak. But so what I'd like you to do when you breathe is make sure you breathe. What's happening now, your voice is very beautiful and you have wonderful focus, but you're not having any what we call backspace. Some people call it
Yeah.
chiaroscuro. There are lots of ways, but you're not blooming on the top, which is making me feel that you're a mezzo instead of a soprano. You know, you have this beautiful middle, and then, but I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying this is the way you're singing. You've got such a full middle, and it's costing you for the top. So if you open here, I mean, I can't, I need reading glasses to see the computer. Anyway, if you open here, honey, and breathe like this, and keep this up, keep it, pull, yeah, there you go. Now, I don't know, it's so hard when we all have to do all this karaoke type stuff now to get to a place where it goes to a high note, but you don't have a keyboard in front of you or anything, do you?
I have a little keyboard app here.
Well, that's fine. So can we just do breathing like that and doing an octave like A flat to A flat? So middle, you know, above middle C.
My piano.
Oh, he's got his piano. Yeah, that one. Thank you, Mark. This melody. Speak so we get you back on the camera. Now we've got Mark.
Testing 1, 2.
There you go. Okay, good. Okay, so, and then oh, ah, in the octave leap, but keep this up. Okay, now your top is as full as your middle.
Mm.
So what you did was you opened up the space before you got there. So your goal when you're doing, and by the way, your coloratura is very good. So I would show that off. That doesn't mean you're coloratura.
Right.
Okay, it just means you have facility. And that is a great thing to have. So so that's the kind of way you approach the top. If you are lighter, when your goal is a high note, you have to be headier in the feel on the bottom. So it almost feels like where you're going, but this has to stay up so you're not going wonk, too much work. I call it vocal gymnastics, okay?
Yeah.
And that was beautiful and full. It also opened up the backspace.
Mm.
So you have to have both. You don't sing into the backspace, but in order to, it's a two-way stretch. Singing is perverse. It's so bizarre. So you have to have backspace and then sing forward. But otherwise, you lose some of the overtone and the tuning of your instrument. And I'll be quiet for a while and let Mark talk for a few minutes.
I'm basically going to say the same things because I heard the same thing. I also wanted to say that there's so much rep for your kind of voice. This one's going to come when you're older, and don't rush it, sweetheart, because it comes really quickly. And suddenly you get to be where I'm at. I turned 60 this year, and you get to that age, and you're like, how did I get here so fast?
Mark,
Don't rush
Mark,
it. It'll
please
get
don't
there
tell.
soon enough. It'll get there soon enough. I also wanted to say that your melismas were so good, and then I also heard you not finding the backspace in the top. There's an exercise that Judy gave me a long time ago that helps me find that space, but you can't be afraid to put your fingers in your mouth.
Okay.
So
But they have to be clean.
they have to be clean, obviously, in this time period. In this, you're going to literally take your thumbs and hook back behind your molars. Like that. Okay, and then do the same octave leaps. But let's go. Maybe Judy a B flat.
The B flat, yeah.
And put them in the back
Yeah,
molar?
and hook them behind and just sing ah, and feel how that resonates. It's a sympathetic vibration because we know there's nothing but brain matter up here, but you're gonna feel it somewhere in this direction. Judy always used to say when I was learning how to sing a high note, and as a countertenor, high notes are a thing, okay? Just as much as low notes. So when I was learning how to negotiate them for the American opera houses, which is why I came to Judy, because suddenly I had all these contracts and I thought, I'm gonna die. So I stalked her, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. I stalked her for years, said, give me this opera house technique because I am this lovely little oratorio voice that's gonna die. So fix me, please. So try it. And we're gonna try to find that halo effect.
Perfect.
Yes. What did you feel?
It felt it felt a lot easier than when I sang in the song.
That's the point, sweetheart. Singers are basically lazy. We like it easy.
Yeah.
Okay? So if you're working too much, then probably something's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I really wanted to, and there's another way to also help you find it, and we'll try it again on that B flat. But this is going to feel like a mosquito burrowing its way out of your forehead. And this is literally just opening up that back space. This is not how you sing. This is just an exercise. So on that same B flat, sing, ah, without your tongue pulling back. Try it. Good. Where was that resonance?
It was, I don't even know. Can you try it again?
Try it again.
Okay.
That was
Okay.
a tiny
Yeah.
bit squeezed. That was not as open as the last one. But where did you feel it buzz?
It was definitely like higher up in my head.
Good. Now try the ah vowel again. But let's go oh, ah, oh. Sorry, I'm not warmed up. Oh ah oh. And see if you can find that same spot.
And it's the quiet one, right?
Yeah, but we're gonna sing it with your regular voice now to see if you can find that same spot. Yeah, that's getting better.
Yeah.
So these are just exercises to help you find the backspace. This is the true meaning. What Judy was saying is that it goes both directions. That's the true meaning of chiaroscuro, which you hear people talk about a lot, but not many people tell you how. So Judy and I have just given you all sorts of things that help you find this.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you giving us a 2-minute warning, Blake?
How did you guess?
I saw your pretty face. Okay. So Melody, one of the things you did without really realizing it, or maybe you did, is you lifted your lip on the upper note. Okay.
Mm.
You have all high notes for soprano, A flat up, go into the soft palate. And so if you try and pull them forward, you're going to pull your palate down, which is going to be the antithesis of what you need to get to the high notes.
Mm.
So you want to use up space too, which you did, by the way. And the high notes then were beautiful. So play around with that for you. And also, can I ask, how tall are you, honey?
5'6".
Okay, you're, well, everyone's taller than I am. I'm only 5'2". But I was thinking that I'm not telling you to do Despina relative to Fioreligi, but I am thinking maybe you even want to do Dei Vieni or something. But you do have this amazing coloratura. So I would use it, absolutely use it for audition, not light coloratura. I'm not talking about Zerbinetta or something like that. But for example, you graduated from undergraduate, so you might now be able to look at Manon's first aria, which is Je suis encore. I don't know how your French is. You need a nice lyric sound, and then she goes up to a high D flat. Can you do that?
Mm.
Or a high D, and I
High
think.
D
I
flat?
thought to remember. Yeah,
Yeah, like
or D.
like D is my very top that I can only hit some days. So D is a lot more in my.
Well, when you do the whistle tone starts at C sharp. When you do the whistle tone, that is the only time that your voice really goes way back here and it resonates above your ears. And if you try and pull that forward, you'll kill yourself.
You'll kill yourself.
So,
Yeah.
so if you do in an A vowel, and it's called the whistle tone for a reason. It's not supposed to be a connected high note. And some people hate that sound. And I'll give you one other bit of information. Everything pulls here when you do the whistle tone. It's meant to do that. Then you end up on the partials, and that's how you get that finer sound. So don't be afraid if this is pulling, but only above the high C, at the C sharp up. So someday, and I'm not going to stick my tongue out at everybody, pull your tongue and say ah, and then ah, and you'll feel it way back here. I know we have to stop, but that's some information for you, Melody, and you have a beautiful voice, and you're beginning your journey. So good job.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks both.
Great job, Melody. Next we have Kinga. Who is here?
There she is.
There she is.
Oh,
There you are.
I'm here. Hello, I'm Kinga.
Wait, I'm missing. Oh, there you are. Now I've got you. Kinga, how do you say your last name?
Karska.
Say it again.
Karska.
Karska. So
Yes.
is that Czech, Russian, Polish? What is that?
Polish.
Okay.
I'm from Poland. I live in Krakow.
Okay. All right, good. So now, what are you going to sing?
I will sing aria Donna Anna arias from Don Giovanni.
Okay.
First, with Orsai L'Onore.
Very good. Wonderful. Mark, do you want to start or you would like me to start?
Go ahead. I'll jump in.
Okay. Kinga, where
Yeah.
are you? Where are you today? Where are you singing from?
I'm now in Krakow. I finished my study in Poland. It's 8 years ago when I finished my study, master study.
Oh, okay. But are you singing from Poland today? Are you
Yes.
in Poland?
Yes.
Okay.
in
All right.
Krakow.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't hear. My speaker was going in and out. Mark has better speakers. So you have a very beautiful voice. Can I ask you, how old are you?
I'm 38.
Oh, 38. Okay. So you are a grown up. You have chosen one of the hardest arias in all of arias for sopranos. I have seen people at the Metropolitan Opera fall apart on this aria, but you sang it incredibly, incredibly well. Are you singing professionally now?
I think in a few projects, but not. I don't have a lot of projects. Only from time to time.
Okay, so I couldn't tell how you were breathing for this. You sang it beautifully. About your breathing, talk to me about your breathing.
Okay, I try in English. I take here my breath and aria, and I feel here or with tension of aria. Here I'm free. I feel free here, but here it's all the work here.
Well, it sounds to me like it is correct, like you have the right breathing. When you begin the aria, when do you begin to breathe? Before you
I begin with when start accompaniment, when start introduction. It's here is a very short introduction, and
right.
I
So
start before.
right, a little perfect. So you are doing everything I would tell you to do in breathing. Now, tell me about Donna Anna. Tell me about her. What do you feel when you sing her?
In this moment, I feel because here she knows who killed her father, and she wants La Vendetta. I don't know how to say.
Yeah,
La Vendetta. It's, yeah, we get it.
I'm sorry.
No, please. It's good. It's good. You're doing very well. Vengeance. It's vengeance is the English word. La Vendetta.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yes. So what I need from you is to see that in your eyes.
Okay.
I don't care if you wear your glasses or you don't. That's fine.
I can.
So, Mark, why don't you carry on with that?
Sure.
But when you sing, your voice is so good and so perfect for this role. But I need to see it like how angry and hurt you are in your face. Okay? But only in your eyes.
Okay.
Okay, Mark, continue on.
I know the tessitura of this piece is really sits in that place that I always think, this is Passaggio land, and why did the composers always write everything in this place when it's so difficult to sing? And you hang out there for this one. So what I found, and I'm just going to say this technically quick, and then we'll talk about character.
Talk slowly, sweetheart.
Sorry. I talk way too fast all the time because that's what I do. I found that you were over-opening. Every single thing was like this.
Yeah.
So by the time you got to the end of the aria, you were tired. Okay? So I really think that you need to try not to open so much.
Okay.
So the backspace saves you. Okay? And you don't feel like you're just pushing air out of your mouth all the time. We try to inhale the sound and let it spin. Don't shove it this direction. Okay? And you can do that while you're singing by literally doing a circle like this on the hinges.
Okay.
And that's going to encourage your jaw to drop just like gravity takes it, slowly down and back, but never more than you can chew with your lips closed. So if you put your lips together and gently chew, that's really all the space you need until you get to what I learned IQ. Okay? And I see you overworking it, which meant by the end of the aria you were tired. Okay? So try that sometime as you're working and see. I do this too, okay? I do this a lot. And I have to remind myself that if I drop all the way down to my chest, my voice loses focus, and then I have to drive the sound. So try, like putting your hand here so that you don't drop all the time, okay?
Okay.
We got the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, I see her. Thanks. About the character, she's hurt, right? She's angry.
Yes.
There are several different kinds of way of showing that on your face. And this is where you have to be a little bit of a person who loves the mirror, because you need to look at the mirror and try to find as many different facial expressions as you can for that. If you have a book of, oh, Judy, I'm going to get this wrong, synonyms?
That is correct.
Yeah, synonyms, where it gives you other words for anger or for vengeance. And you say that word as you're looking in the mirror and see what your face does naturally, and then use that facial expression in music. Okay? Even going as far as to write that word above your music.
I'm sorry, Mark, I just want to try the first line like that.
Yeah.
Can you? Yeah.
Say it once for us first. Say it with as many
With anger.
with anger.
Orsai kilonore.
Ah.
Now do it a different way.
Mhm.
Do it a different way.
Do it sad.
Orsai kilonore. Rapina me forse.
Good.
Perfect. You're perfect. Now combine the two and sing it for us. Just
Yeah.
the first line.
You don't need to use the accompaniment. Just sing it for us and combine the two.
Mhm. Orsai kilonore.
Good, but I need to see it in your eyes, sweetheart. We need
You
to see
know,
it in your eyes.
Kinga,
Okay.
a lot of teachers teach to never ever furrow or make tension in your forehead.
Yeah.
Can you imagine going to the opera house and seeing everybody look like this the whole time?
No.
Okay. Don't be afraid to look like that in your eyes, okay? Because that's
Okay.
the only place we can do that. Okay,
Mhm.
so try it
Try
again.
again.
You're doing great.
Orsai kilonore. Rapina me forse.
All right. We have to stop there, but that was great. How did it feel?
I feel that I can express my emotion, my feelings. I
Yes.
give him more expression, not only voice, but also with face, with muscles.
Right.
And I
Yes.
feel different quality of sound, a different feeling of singing.
Absolutely. We sing to move people. We move ourselves first, and then we move everybody else. And so they have to see that. That you did great. Good for you, and especially translating from Italian to Polish to English. Very good.
Thank you.
Good. Brava.
Wonderful job to all of our singers. Bravo.
Thank you.
Now we are opening our floor to the question and answer section of our masterclass for the last 10 minutes. If you have a question, please virtually raise your hand or place your question in the chat where I will be able to read it to our presenter.
I'm going to go back on gallery view, so in case anybody is not just a picture. Okay.
All right, people.
Ask away.
It only takes the first question.
Daniela has her hand up.
Hi, yes, today's my off day, so I'm in pajamas. But I wanted to ask if you could please demonstrate the quick exercise of what did you do? I just need you to demonstrate the quick little inhalation, exhalation between the vowels. Could you do that?
Oh, that's me. Yeah. So you first off, you know where the panting muscle is, the epigastrium and all that stuff that pants. So you have to get used to that first. And sometimes I make noise with it because it's easier to hear myself do it. So if you make the panting noise first by going, okay, and realize if you could hear that it has to be equal. The pressure going out has to equal the pressure going in. And I know that's being picky, but it makes the muscles move both direction equally. So try panting first and go. And I'm serious, have a chair near, because if you get dizzy, you need to sit down.
I'm in bed, don't worry. If I go, they can find me here.
And then we're just doing the 5 vowels between 2 pants. So I'm going to go E, A, O, ooh. And that works that catch breath and doesn't allow you to push at the same time because you never have a chance to go, oh. Okay?
Right. No, it's phenomenal. And you did it so fast, I'm like, oh my goodness, I need to ask him at the end.
So I've been doing it for years, so I don't need to go that fast, but hopefully that explained it.
No, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Anna had her hand up.
Go ahead, Anna. Anna.
She's muted. Or
You had a
Anna,
question,
however
Anna?
you say it.
And Justin put a question in the chat, Blake.
Anna, you still can't be heard, so you can type your question out And I'm happy to read it. Quote you. All right, but while we're waiting for that, Justin's question is your advice for lyric baritones the same for what you told the sopranos as a singing lighter? In a lot of master classes that he has sung, the immediate temptation is for the practitioner to try to add more weight to his sound while they are trying to recreate expansion. And he is 20.
Oh, well, it depends on what your repertoire is, Justin, and how old you are. Everyone should sing the appropriate repertoire for their voice, but also age appropriate repertoire. And if you're an undergraduate, we do mostly song. And we do it because when you do song, you don't have any pre-perceived idea of what the sound should be, and you find your own sound. With arias, you always are listening to somebody and trying to mimic that, and you can't help it because that's what we are. We're apprentices before we are the ones who are the teachers. So it really depends on your age. What a teacher is doing is, if they're opening up backspace, is not necessarily trying to add weight, but to add a roundness to your sound. So you're neither too far forward or too far back. So again, it's hard to know unless I know, who you are, how old you are, and I'd have to hear you at the same time.
He's going to be 20 next month, and he's a rising junior in college.
Okay, and what do you sing?
Are you able to unmute, Justin?
You can talk, Justin.
Yeah, Justin, what do you sing?
I finally opened my chat. I wasn't open.
I'm not hearing him if he's.
All right. Well, he's not typing it in.
Anyway, I also don't confuse the term lighter with a production issue. Judy's not asking you to sing in a lighter production. She's asking you to sing repertoire that's considered lighter. I need
Well,
another word.
I wouldn't want you to come in with Verdi, okay,
Right.
or Puccini. You're not ready. So, and I would want you to do as many songs. Now, I know you all have to have your arias to audition, and so you want to wow everybody. But Mozart usually goes over very well, and some handle, and depending on what your capabilities are. And some actually contemporary arias are lighter in nature. So no.
In the competition this year, I've heard a lot from the new opera Silent Night. I've heard a lot of those arias. They seem to work well for young lyric voices.
Great, thank you so much. Our next question is from Lori. What are your opinions on the breathing techniques of the singers when they sing Golden Age music?
I'm not sure I understand that. I don't think it's any different from any of the other breathing techniques. So
I believe that you have to use your back. Yeah.
yeah. So breathing is the
That's all
same no
part of
matter
it.
what you're singing.
And I do feel it in my own singing. I do feel it when I do it correctly and don't get in my own way. I do feel my ribs expand as I sing, and I do feel like, and I don't know how to, again, this is a feeling and it's my own personal feeling, but I have wonderful teachers who give me feedback and tell me that it seems to sound okay. I feel like I'm having a lower expansion in my lower lumbar area. It feels like I'm doing this when I breathe properly. If I'm nervous, that's the first thing to go. And then that keeps me from actually fully expanding my rib cage. And the first thing that I do is push on right underneath my sternum, which is death to a voice. I'll lock it hard as a rock. And yeah, only once I think in our 24 years did Judy go, stop that. But,
And I actually hit you. Oh, that doesn't sound like me.
you kept pushing. You said, "Here, let go of this." So that's yeah. I do. I do think that we.
I just want to add, there's a difference, obviously, in the physiology of women and men. And so sometimes we can teach that slightly, using slightly different muscles. And I find the men go much lower in their bodies than the women. The women expand like, well, in the, you know, more in the center and the back. So anyway, you know, you have to find out what's right for you. Exactly.
Blake, I see Kyle's question. Do you want me to go? If everybody doesn't have their chat open, this is a long question. Do you want me to go ahead and try to answer it?
Please go right ahead, and then we have one more question from a student in that.
Okay, Kyle, I will try to answer this fast. He's asking me what's the differences in sound production from oratorio to operatic countertenor voice. And he is a countertenor, and most of the time, because of nature of oratorio, he tends to hold back his sound. Are there specific vocal issues to the countertenor, and are things that normal Fox do that countertenors can never do? That brings up a favorite subject. Kyle, if I don't get to answer all of this, email me at mcreighton@roosevelt.edu, and I'll try to answer everything more elaborately. The operatic countertenor voices for me was more fully resonant and actually had me using more speed of air to be able to heard in a 4,000 seat opera house. Oratorio for me is easy. I don't know how else to say it. You're standing in front of the orchestra. You're not having to sing across the pit. And Judy helped me find that, and all of my teachers helped me find the more resonant place to do that. It's not more work, it's just more coordinated work. And I never hold back my sound even if I'm in oratorio because it makes me tight. So I suggest don't. And then email me and I'll talk about the things that we can do that other people can't do and what we probably should stay away from. mcreighton@roosevelt.edu. And you said we had one more question, Blake?
We do, but we are unfortunately out of time. Tanya,
Sorry.
please feel free.
You can email us these questions. It's
Right.
Haddon, JHADDON @roosevelt.edu, and mcreighton, MCRAYTON @roosevelt.edu. Please email us questions if you have them.
And to the singers who have sung, you all have wonderful poise, and this is a very crazy way of doing this. We'd be much freer, of course, if we were face to face. So kudos to you all, and you beautiful voices. Keep working, keep dreaming, keep looking for what you would like, and then prepare. And I say hi to Maria Spacagna. I don't see her face, but I see
She was
her.
there. There's Maria. Yay! And everybody, consider this time as a time to work on you. We're all learning new things here, and singers are suddenly have to become very much IT people as well. So there's a lot of creating being developed right now because people need to sing. So find ways to sing. Start your own YouTube channel. Sing. We have a lot to help the world with right now, and the world needs us. So find ways to sing.
Well,
The world is not beautiful without art.
That is so true.
Thank you so much, Blake, and thanks to all the singers.
Thank you all. Wonderful job to all of our singers, and thank you to our wonderful presenters. Thank you for your time and your insight, and that concludes this meeting. Thank you so much for coming.